شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Islam and Life with me, Roshan Muhammad Salih. Ramadan, the month when Muslims refrain from food, drink and marital relations during daylight hours, is a special time for Muslims. Here in the UK, the fasting hours are long, up to 20 hours a day, because the holy month comes bang in the middle of a British summer. But the physical and spiritual rewards are worth it. Ramadan is the month of prayer and the Quran, when Muslims do their best to cultivate willpower, discipline and self-restraint. They also increase their charitable activities and empathize with the poor, needy and destitute. But Ramadan isn't about self-sacrifice alone. It's worth sharing food with your family and friends. It's about increasing solidarity with your Muslim brothers and sisters at home and abroad. And here in the West, it's about showcasing the beauty of Islam to the non-Muslim majority.
From Christians during Lent to Jews during Yom Kippur and Hindus on several occasions, fasting is a shared phenomena between all major faiths. By inviting people of other faiths to partake in fasting and other Ramadan activities, Muslims can strengthen bonds amongst people of faith. Ramadan is also a month when charity is highly recommended. The charitable projects do not just target Muslims and tend to bring relief to all mankind. Muslims can use this month, therefore, to share love and build genuine bridges. Ramadan is also a time of social connections. Muslims gather for breaking their fasts and during other activities. It is a time for connecting with the communities. Muslims can truly connect at this time with all the different communities of different faiths by inviting others to the noble activities of Ramadan. Spirituality in Islam involves connecting to God, but also connecting and caring for His creatures. The true value for Muslims thus in this month is involving people of all faiths to create this connection.
To discuss the significance of the holy month of Ramadan, we're joined by Professor Tariq Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum, Professor Ramadan. If I could start off with a very obvious question, but you know, a question for non-Muslims mainly. I think they'll think that Muslims are a bit crazy for fasting 20 hours a day during a hot British summer. Why do Muslims fast?
I think that, there is also something which is important for us when we address this question is to understand that in all spiritual traditions there is fasting. And we have it in the Quran. It was prescribed to you as it was prescribed to all the other religions. So there is something which is essential in fasting, which has to do with three main dimensions. The first one is coming close to God. It's natural to eat, natural to drink, and at the same time, you are, in a spiritual way, preventing yourself to come close to the Creator. So it's a way to remember. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. These months of Ramadan within which the Quran was revealed is a month of dhikr, remembrance. The second, which it's important, coming close to God, is for us, it's coming close to yourself, which is a personal journey towards your own heart. It's a very personal thing. And at the same time, this very spiritual personal journey is in fact connected to the third dimension, reconnect with your humanity and human beings, the collective dimension. A spiritual individual journey pushing you towards rethinking the quality of your relationship with other human beings. Not only Muslims, but people of other faiths, people, humanity, the poor people. And as we know in Islam, poor have no religions, no color, no social status. By the only fact that the people are poor or oppressed, we have to be on their side. We have to be for them. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ was saying, Allahumma nas'aluka hubb al-masakin. You are asking you to love the poor people. It's not only to love, but to be loved by them. So all this as the central message of Islam is something that we need to understand. And the point that I wanted to add is about these 20 hours, because it's long and it's difficult. And for some, because we are not eating and we are not drinking. So it means that we have to change our way of life, but not by sleeping during the day and being awake during the night.
That's cheating.
Exactly. But by trying to find a way where, at the same time, we remain active. Ramadan is not about sleeping and taking our holidays. We have to be active. We have to be with...
the time passes more quickly if you're active as well,
yes,
I
of course.
find.
Exactly, yes. And then we also have to understand that in some northern countries where there is no night and day, there is something which is fatwa, legal opinion, saying you have to take it from the closest country in order to find your way. And it's difficult, but it's worth it. Yes, and it's possible.
You've summarized the whole thing very nicely there. We're going to pick apart the details now. First of all, it isn't just a fast of the stomach, is it? Do you think some Muslims don't benefit from the month because they're literally just fasting for their stomach, and at the same time they're not treating people any better, or perhaps not even doing much more spiritual stuff than they usually do?
Exactly. And the problem, Ramadan is revealing is you can be very strict with the rules, not getting the meaning. So it's from the morning till the sunset, you don't drink, and you just respect the formal things and say, I'm fasting. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, mind you, some of you are going to get from their fast only the fact that they didn't drink and they didn't eat, and that's it. But it's deeper than that. It's not about only fasting and preventing you from eating. It should be a kind of literally a revolution. It's just you have to change. It's a rupture in all what you were doing. And the month of Ramadan is not only about fasting. There is a blessed month. There is something about it, which is the time is changing. When you fast, your relationship with time is changing. Your relationship with space should be changing as well. So we have to go through a very deep sense of what is the meaning of this. And this is why we had scholars in our tradition taking so much time, say, okay, you need to fast not only with your stomach, but you need to fast with your way you speak. So you should avoid being aggressive. You should use the right word to be gentle. You have to master your anger. Exactly the opposite of some of our brothers and sisters who are fasting, coming.
And they get angry because they're hungry.
Yes, and they send around he's angry because he's fasting. It's the other way around. You have to be more gentle. This is a journey of, you use the word which is not very much used and liked these days, which is discipline. You have to be disciplined with your stomach, but then with the way you speak, with the way you look, with the way you serve. And this is why Abu Hamid al-Ghazali is that you are fasting with your hands, you are fasting with your eyes, you are fasting with your tongue, you are fasting with your being. And then you are also fasting, and this is the deeper, with your heart. And with your heart should come solidarity and compassion.
Ramadan is also the month of increased ibadah, increased worship, and also it's the month of the Quran as well. A lot of Muslims will try and get through the whole of the Quran during the holy month. They will increase their prayers. Sunni Muslims will pray Taraweeh prayer after Isha every night, trying to get through the whole Quran. Tell me about that, kind of re-establishing your relationship with the Quran. Perhaps we don't read it as much other times of the year?
Yes, as I said, in the Quran you find that this month is the month where the Quran was revealed, so from the highest sky to the lowest one, and we have a sense that this is the month of the Quran, and it has to be so. By the way, Shia and Sunni, they all agree on that. Come back to the meaning. In fact, come back to the text, to the revelation means come back to the meaning. Get it. The problem that we have, once again, it's our formalism. It's that, we have to read the whole Quran, and some are counting the pages, not understanding the meaning. So we have to come back, and it would be better to read less, but to read deeply.
So not be so obsessed about getting to the whole of the Quran.
Exactly. The best is this, but to do this, you have to be disciplined with your time. You have to be disciplined with the way you organize your day, and sometimes it's very difficult. When we are fasting 20 hours, you also are working. It's difficult. So the best is to have a discipline with your time. Read less, but read deeply, get the meaning of things.
Even if it's only 15 minutes a day or something like that, or 20 minutes a day?
Yeah, that could be better than to read 45 minutes in a hurry, just getting the pages done and not the meaning understood. So I would say in our life, the best is to do both. Read it all with the meaning, ponder, meditate, contemplate. The month of Ramadan is a month of contemplation.
Yes.
It's not a month of forms and cheating at the forms.
Do you think Muslims can perhaps go a little bit over the top during Ramadan, and then after the month finishes, they drop everything entirely, you know, in terms of...
But this is happening. So some are thinking of the month of Ramadan as a month between brackets. I'm changing everything, so I can commit some sins before and I will start after. I can do things before, I'm not going to do them after. No, we have to come to get this understanding. The month of Ramadan is a school.
A training for the rest of the year.
It's a training for the rest of the year, and you need to get it all. So we should train ourselves to change our life after the month.
Professor Tariq Ramadan, thank you for the moment. We're going to continue this conversation in a minute or so, but your comments are an integral part of this program. So this is what you sent us this week.
This week we asked, how can the month of Ramadan bond Muslims and non-Muslims? Ghulam from UK said, here in the UK, we Muslims have a tradition of inviting our non-Muslim friends and colleagues for the fast-breaking meal. These are beautiful moments when we share the common spiritual factors amongst us in a happy, relaxed and warm atmosphere. Altaf from Switzerland said, in this month, Muslims give priority to acts of charity and caring, and the recipients of our donations and love are not just Muslims. Even non-Muslims benefit, and this strengthens humanity above any differences. Abbas from UK said, the month of Ramadan teaches us brotherhood, and this spirit of brotherhood is not just limited to Muslims. We are encouraged to bond with all people and use basic humanity to unite. Imran from UK said, studying with students who are mostly Christians in Ramadan is challenging. They are always keen to know how I can fast for such long hours in the summer. On few occasions, I invited some of them for iftar last year, and we ate and talked about Ramadan. It was really rewarding, especially when you achieve common spiritual feelings. And Mazaher from Turkey said, the concept of fasting and worship that we undertake in this month resonates with many other faiths, as the concept of fasting and worship is present in many other faiths, such as Christians, Jews and Hindus. We relate and bond on these common factors.
I think it's a best opportunity to discuss the religion, and so they can know about our religion and they can find out what's good thing in our religion, and it's a very better way to involve other people into Islam as well, because they will find out how we pray and how we deal with the people, how we react on all the things we face in our life.
The month of Ramadan is definitely a month of ibadah. We do need to involve our fellow non-Muslim brothers at our centers, outside the workplace, and talk to them what the idea of fasting is. It's not just going on hunger and depriving ourselves from thirst. We and our fellow non-Muslims do share the same views in each other's books on what fasting is all about.
Ramadan is a time for self-reflection, a time to reform. Abstaining from worldly distractions and physical needs, we really focus on our inner selves, mentally and spiritually. In a way, it's the best time to make those New Year resolutions work. And that's something that anyone can relate to, no matter what faith. By incorporating messages like these into the messages that we give our non-Muslim friends about Ramadan, we can encourage them to try giving fasting a shot, make it a more approachable act, invite them over to have meals with us when we end our fasts. By doing things like these, we strengthen our bonds with non-Muslims based on common humanity.
My question is, how should we invite non-Muslim to be involved in the activities of Ramadan?
That's all the comments we have for this week. If you'd like to have your views featured in the show, be sure to follow us on Facebook or join us on Twitter. Now you can send your own videos with your comments and even your questions to islamandlife@presstv.com.
Just continuing the conversation, I want to talk about the social connections that, as that report alluded to, the social connections which are so important in Ramadan, social connections that we establish with fellow Muslims, but also with the wider community. I mean, what would you, I mean, you know, I guess when it comes to non-Muslims, how should Muslims approach, you know, including them in Ramadan? How should they go about doing that?
I think what is very important, and this is the secret of Ramadan, which is in fact revealing the secret of life. The relationship and the quality of your relationship to your fellow human beings depends on the quality of your relationship with yourself. So Ramadan is a personal journey. Be disciplined, look at yourself, trying to be a better person. And remember, many Muslims are quoting the verse and not getting right. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. God is not going to change a community as long as they are not changing what is in themselves. So talking about the individuals, changing themselves in order to change the society. What does it mean? When it comes to this, and you are starving sometimes, and it's very difficult, you cannot drink, there is a personal experience of what poverty could be. And to the point that the Prophet ﷺ was saying, poverty could lead you towards rejecting God because it's so unnatural, it's so against your rights and your basic rights. قَدْ يُؤَدِّي إِلَى الْكُفْرِ, meaning people are so starving, and so when you come to this through Ramadan, it's a personal, feel it, experience it, and now think about the poor people within a society.
Sure.
But not only this, as we said, it's not only for you to think about Muslims, it's also for you to think about people of other faiths and the wider society.
I'm not sure whether you've heard of the Share Ramadan phenomenon, which is basically Muslims, they break bread, they break iftar with non-Muslims, non-Muslim neighbors, non-Muslim colleagues. It's a wonderful way, isn't it, of, without preaching necessarily to non-Muslims about what Islam is, literally just breaking bread with them, and that human intimacy will itself kind of, you know, engender a positive image of Islam.
Yes, that's very important. This is critical when we are in a society where the people, they only listen or hear about Islam through the media coverage, negative and everything. Your neighbor. You know, you have the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لجاره ما يحبه لنفسه. You are not completing your faith if you don't like for your neighbor what you like for yourself. And the neighbor here is not only the Muslim, it's the people of other faiths. So to bring them and say, okay, look, we have been fasting the whole day, come and eat with us. Some are even fasting with some Muslims. You know that in some schools in Britain, in France, in Germany, some of the pupils, the students are fasting with the fellow Muslims because they want to experience it. And for some it's worrying because what is happening in this society that we have. So it's positive in a way that we are sharing the experience, and as we know, you change the mindset, we change the psychology, we change the perception of us, not through discourses, not through, sometimes Muslims should speak less about Islam and show what it means
show
to be a
more
Muslim.
about Islam,
Yes, and fasting.
And it is I mean, I keep on returning to the point about Islam being so demonized in society, but it is a wonderful opportunity to show the true face of Islam, isn't it?
Yes, the month of Ramadan, it's a blessed month, and really it's a blessed, because this is the only month during the year where the only thing which comes first is the spiritual message and the solidarity message. Spiritual for yourself, and you have to show solidarity. You have to be within the society. So this is why it's very good to have some Muslim organizations having, for example, here the Ramadan stand, for example, welcoming the people. Come and eat with us, get a sense of who we are, and the spiritual journey is bringing us at that point where we understand we'll never be dignified human beings if we are not showing compassion and solidarity with our fellow human beings.
I think it's also an opportunity for Muslims to connect with other Muslims, isn't it? In terms of, I mean, you know, we have to admit that there are sectarian fissures in our society because of the politics of the Middle East. And I know that organizations like the Muslim Council of Britain, they have special Shia-Sunni unity iftars during the month.
That's essential, because at the end of the day, whatever is your take on politics in the Middle East or elsewhere, at the end, the starting point of everything, we are all Muslims and we are all fasting. So fasting together is a unifying factor. Let us come together. So some organizations are doing this. So spirituality should be stronger than political opinions. Yes. Spirituality should be stronger. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. We are brothers and sisters in Islam. So this is where, during this month, come together, eat together, and just acknowledge the fact that we are as Muslims as you are Muslims, and we come together. And this is in these very difficult times where the fracture between Sunni and Shia, it's unacceptable in spiritual terms. We need to have some committed Muslims at the grassroots level doing the job of bringing them together.
Yes. Do you think sometimes we can go over the top a little bit, a bit too preachy at times, especially when it comes to non-Muslims? You know, this idea of sharing bread with them, it's good, but should we be kind of trying to convert them aggressively?
No, we should not even think about this. And this is the problem that I have with people who are da'wah oriented. I'm always saying to some Muslims, your perception of da'wah, it's not right. When you come to the verse of the Quran, Ud'u ila sabili rabbik bil hikmati. It's just call for the path of God with what? Your own wisdom, the best speech, and the best way to speak to the people. So it relies on you. At the end, you have to change. You have to be wise. You have to be sensible in what you are saying. So this is one. And then there is a second point which is important, is that وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسْطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. We made you a nation of the middle path in order for you to bear witness. So be witnesses. Don't try to convert the people. Let them decide for themselves. At the end, the secret of hearts is not yours. You don't impose and you don't invite. This is God's business. It's not ours. Allah decides. What we have to do is to be witnesses. So it would be better for Muslims, instead of having in mind to convert or to call, just to present. And the mindset is completely different. Come, eat with us, let us talk together, have a nice time together, and that's it. Anything else? You know, I have been so much involved in southern countries when I saw Christians going there, missionaries, and saying, this is the bread, this is the Bible. To say, don't do this. Not to come here now and to have exactly the mindset. I think this is wrong.
Yeah, but you're not saying that we should completely abandon political activity. I mean, that is part of our kind of deen as well, isn't it? Part of our religion to stand up for justice. Ramadan is not a time that we completely abandon all those kind of duties as well, is it?
Yes, and this is why I'm very cautious with the words I am using. When, for example, we are talking about charity. No, for me it's not this. It's acknowledging our common dignity. It's not charity. It's Zakat has nothing to do with charity. Zakat is your rights and my duties. It's not about, I do it. No. This is sadaqah. Even at the end of Ramadan, we have Zakat al-Fitr. Zakat al-Fitr is these people have the right at the end with our common festival to be dignified in the way they are going to participate. So I would say here that anything in Islam which has to do show solidarity with the poor. It's not out of permanent charitable understanding. No, out of justice, out of dignity. And at the end, this is a school for you to carry on being just after Ramadan. It's just not a between bracket solidarity. No, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was showing more solidarity during Ramadan, but he was doing so the whole year. And you were entering in his mosque, poor people all around the mosque, asking his daughter to carry on the work of showing solidarity and justice towards them. So I would say, no, Islam, it's not about charity and that's it. No, Islam is for justice and now stand up. Ramadan is a call for standing up.
Thank you very much for enlightening us today, Professor Tariq Ramadan. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you to our esteemed guest, Professor Tariq Ramadan, for enlightening us with his views, and thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Islam and Life.